Hello, everybody, and welcome to the World Series of Board Gaming right here, being streamed on the Dice Tower. My name is Z Garcia,
I'm Camilla Cleghorn.
and we are taking a look at the finals for Azul, the Michael Kiesling Classic, happening right now.
Right now, this is it.
4 finalists, all champs already, but
Yes.
going for that ring. Going for that ring valued at approximately $3,000 if they win, and bragging rights for a good long while too.
Probably a real long while. I know I'd be bragging about it for ever.
There'd
Like,
be a
you'd
lot
never
of
stop
there'd be a
hearing
lot
about
of
it.
sort of pointing at things with my
yes.
blinged out hand. Hey, look
Absolutely.
at that! Could I get one of those drinks, please? That sort of thing. Absolutely. All right, so we've got our 4 players getting ready to start here.
Setting it up.
We've got our 4 players, so we're gonna tell you all about them and show you what's going on as they're playing. Let's call them out, shall we? So, sitting at seat number 1 today, you're going to get to see Scott Leader from Colorado. He's going to be playing at seat 1. We've got at seat 2 Andrew McCauley from Washington, D.C. He'll be our seat 2 champ here. You want to do seats
Yeah, absolutely.
3
Other
and
side of the
4
table there,
here?
we got seat 3, Danielle Wallace, who came here from LA. This is actually her second year. She was played last year as well, so she is a returning player. And in our 4th seat, we have Shimon or Simon Balser?
I think he said
Balsier.
Bowser.
Balser.
Yes, I believe so. He
apologize,
is
yeah.
Polish.
He is Polish, yes. So he came from Poland, kind of coupling a vacation with this here as well. So
That's right, yeah.
doing some sightseeing in the area.
Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool story to everything he's doing. He's been doing some sightseeing before this tournament, and then he's going to continue that after the tournament as well.
Right, which is kind of cool. It's the way to do it, right? Like he
Yeah.
said he wanted to come to this area anyway and check it out, and then he heard that the World Series was here in the area. He's like, oh, why not go and maybe win the trip money back, you know?
Right? Exactly. Exactly. So here we go, folks. They are starting it off. We've got our seated factory floors there. Some juicy spots out there. Let's check in with the comments here. And hi, everybody in the comments, by the way. Thanks for joining us live. Thanks for chatting it up in the comments. We appreciate you. All right, here we go. We're starting to make some moves. First move, filling in that second line. And there we go. Look at that. Immediately, folks, you'll see immediately second player goes for the center, breaks the center, right? Takes that penalty point. But you'll see that move here, something you might not see at home in casual games. You'll see that happen quite a bit here in this professional level Azul, where they'll go for that center early on just to lock one of the higher lanes, something they can get done immediately. You'll see there they go for those 2 reds. That penalty point, that's a wash. That's going to go away at the end anyway because they're making commanding plays and get to be first next time. A big deal, especially in one of these 4-player games.
Absolutely. Sometimes in these high-level games, you have to know when that's worth it, and we've seen it happen a lot earlier here. You'll notice also they're going to be passing that card around. That's going to symbolize the end of their turn. No takebacks, no changes from that point on. They're saying, I'm done, I'm committing to what I've done, and I'm not changing my mind. So you'll see that passed around the table as well.
Yeah, and you'll see it fly around quite quickly here at the beginning, but we're expecting there to be a little sort of hesitation as they put the hand on it and don't quite lift it yet until they're done. Some chess moves.
And back.
You'll see all 3 of the first players have filled in their second line immediately and completely. We're waiting here on the 4th spot as there's some thinking going on. There we go. Taking those 3 reds, filling in that 3rd lane. There we go. Going for completing.
Taking a moment to think.
Yeah.
There it goes.
Going for the complete line immediately, higher lanes.
And we're back to Scott here.
Single color in the center of the table, which is very interesting right now. That's a good move there. Could fill in the 3rd line, but of course, there we go, and that's indeed what they went for. But they do have to, check out what's going on around the other factories, how many of that color are still left, and if that could be a good move for a little bit later. But they took it and put it at the bottom, actually, because there's that counting going on, thinking I can get 2 more of these, you know.
Right. I have multiple chances. Even if it goes all the way around the table, I've
Right.
got a chance at getting it
Right, right.
for sure.
All right. Hi, everybody in the chat. Good to see you. Hope you're enjoying the play here and maybe taking some pointers. You know, this is going to be some high-level play of Azul, so, you know, take some notes. Crush some folks around the kitchen table.
Yeah, it's interesting in talking to the players, the different things they did to prep. You know, some maybe just played it a couple times casually. Others, they like, oh, I spent the last year practicing this game over and over again. You
That's
know,
right.
just seeing kind of the different strategies that came out as they
That's right, yeah.
prepped coming here. I think, you know, one of the players here just decided 2 months ago that they wanted to, and another's been preparing themselves since last year. You know, so just the wide variety of kind of personalities that you see come out.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, Andrew, for example, got very close last year. He was telling us that he played, it's his second year here. He got very close to winning last year and so came back with a fervor to take it all this time. We'll see if indeed it can be done.
Yeah.
He's up against 3 very good competitors.
I love that Danielle, she was telling us beforehand as well how she hadn't played Azul before last year when she was in the tournament. And so she played it in prep for the tournament, and now it's like one of her most favorite played, or highest played games. You know, she
Right,
has a
right.
bunch of plays of it.
Exactly.
So it's really fun that she kind of discovered it through this championship. I thought that was neat.
I'll also go ahead and point out that they are playing, as you'll have noticed, on the simple side of the boards. You can play Azul on the other side, sort of the advanced side, where you get to decide where the colors go. But we, you know, they have them play all on the simple side here, just to make it easy and straightforward. All right, there we go.
All right, into our third round.
All right, so we're back up to possibly filling up that 5th line, but the move was not that. Okay. Interesting. It's an interesting move there, leaving 2 lines incomplete about halfway through this round. We'll see if that pans out. Playing a little denial, it looks like, maybe, for the next player after them, who was also going for that color. Danielle, by the way, won Azul in the regional qualifier at Dice Tower West.
That's right.
And is out here now competing for the whole shebang. All right. Something really interesting that I notice also watching folks play at this level is how quickly they break that center and they take that first tile, but also how many factories you'll see that are still left that they don't necessarily take from and then jump the rest into the middle. You don't want to make that too juicy, right? So there's this sort of checks and balances that is constantly happening that you just don't see as much of in casual play.
Taking the 1 piece to finish out that 3.
Yep. Got Dave Luza in the chat who's talking about having lost his first game of Azul today against Danielle. Now he's rooting for her. So there you go. It's just a good atmosphere around here, folks. You know, everybody kind of really real camaraderie.
It is.
You know, everybody now having, you know, been eliminated but cheering for maybe the person they lost to see them take it all the way, you know. That sort of camaraderie is really nice.
And it's fun, and you see that in some of the prelim games, you know, when we're walking around the quarterfinals, things like that. There is just a nice, relaxed atmosphere. Now it's being taken serious. There's the judges there, and they know what's on the line, of course. But it is just that they're just having fun. It's just nice to see that the game isn't lost. You know, the fun behind it. I thought that was really impressive.
Absolutely.
That you walk away with some friends, hopefully a ring, you know, but if nothing else, a couple good stories and some friends.
Yeah. A lot of thinking going on.
All those blacks got pushed to the middle too there.
Yeah, there's too many now to take from the center, obviously, to take that color. So that line will definitely stay either incomplete or there will be a lot of penalties. And that's probably what's being decided right now. Okay, so it looks like you'll go ahead and fill up the top, leave that fifth line incomplete for this round. Just let it sit there, which is a bit of a scary position to go into next round with. But they're prioritizing those upper lines anyway.
We did find out in the game before this that you know, had a rule check there that you can't go negative. You can't have a negative score, you know, in Azul.
That's right, yeah.
And so one of the players here on the first round had -2 points, but it zeroed out because you
That's
can't
right.
go negative. And then anyway, and it ended up winning by 1 point.
That's right.
You know, so it's really interesting. So speaking of all those blacks in the middle there, I'm sure there's a lot of thinking and calculating going on right now. Is it worth it? Because if you're going to go negative, now's the time to do it.
If you're going to go.
Much to pass up.
There we go. That red would be a very tempting single piece to put up top. All the other ones would leave them with an incomplete line going into the second round, but again, that might be the good move there. Okay.
All right.
Very interesting. Again, you can do taking that yellow will let them score in a column, and that they're willing to take the negative point for that scoring in the column. You'll see the yellow, blue, and then that white tile are all stacked up, so they'll be able to score all three of those. There we go.
All right. End of round, and then here to scoring.
1, 2, -1 is 1.
All right, they're doing the scoring now. Let's see how this shakes out.
Andrew's got.
Where's the lid? Oh,
It's on the stream.
see, those are the ones we gave away.
We could put it in the middle.
There we go.
And then you
I like
can
that.
One.
Oh, there's that solid
That's a real good
grouping.
grouping.
Solid grouping right down the middle. You want that column scoring. Lots of bonus points that way.
Strong first turn there with
Absolutely.
5 points. Absolutely.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Nothing taken back. So 6.
Right.
I'd have one here, another one there, and -1 is 1 total.
I believe that score was 1-1-5-6, right?
Some people say the best way to start is just 1 point in the first round. Start out pretty slow.
Oh, should we say it
Yeah.
out
But
loud
we-
for
That's
them?
fine.
You're
Oh,
supposed
right.
to put it here, right?
And we got that? Good
Scott
job,
has
guys.
1 point.
I have 1
Andrew
point.
has 1 point. Danielle has 5 points, and Simon has 6 points. And move
Okay.
accused to match that.
There we go. They're updating their score tracks.
Okay. Who has the first
Scott.
round?
Oh, I get to put them out.
All right,
This is only like
populating
the
here
third
for
time
the
I've
second
done this.
round.
Very nice. It's a strong first round.
First game it was back and forth. It was just me and the person that wouldn't let me draw tile.
So I know we've got Danielle sitting over here. I'm not sure who is sitting next to her. Do we know who's sitting next to her? Okay, that's seat number 4.
Or
That's going to
gonna
be,
Shimon.
that's Simon or
Simon.
Shimon.
Sorry, yes.
Yeah, he said Simon to us as we were talking to him, and then we pressed him a little bit. Is that how you say it? So Shimon, but you know,
Shimon, yes.
he's been telling everybody Simon. So them two are right now in the lead, of course, very early game, and they have a very similar plan, as you can see, going for that strong column. His is up against the edge. And Danielle's also going to the second round here with an absolutely clear sideboard, that loading side where you'll bring in the tiles fully cleared. A lot of flexibility.
Oh, that was the
Yeah,
yellow.
it was a yellow one coming.
And then you had the blue on the
Yeah.
bottom.
There I go, messing it up. I pulled 3 for you. I was worried that wasn't going to happen.
Well, my 3 and 4.
Yeah, Kyle was pointing out in the chat here that the -1 of red instead of the empty line was a very interesting play. I thought so as well. Instead of taking that very last tile that was taken, instead of going to the 4th empty line, which was the empty line, the only empty line they had left, they instead chose not to lock red in there and just take it as a negative point, to leave that line fully empty going into the second round. Rather give up the point than be forced to deal with red and whatever the flip may be in the randomization of the tiles for this second round. So yeah, I agree, that was a very interesting play. And again, it's high level play. The -1 point for breaking the center, -1 point for not being forced to deal with a color that's barely there. You'll see that kind of move.
Good grasp and understanding of a -1 over the course of a game kind of levels out
Sure.
with the advantage of the flexibility or of the first player or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Danielle.
And that was seed number 1. That was Scott who made that move, by the way. There we go. That's how they're sitting. So here we go.
Andrew with our first move here.
And immediately, boom, Danielle
There you go.
breaks the center, fills in that top line. Probably make a move for that second column, right next to that first column. That'll be a strong push for that.
Absolutely.
Very interesting to see at the beginning of each of these rounds, they move fairly quickly, and as they get down to the last few tiles, it really will slow down. A lot of thinking, careful planning.
This early game here, they're kind of thinking, putting themselves in the best advantage seat possible, you know. But then later game, it's not just about them; it's what is everyone else doing. You
That's
kind
true
of, you
too.
see that shift.
Absolutely.
It's their a lot more thinking.
One interesting thing is the qualifiers for all of these folks to make it into the final here were 2-player games.
Yeah, that was
So they played 2-player games were their final plays, and some of those were lightning fast. I believe it was last year that they had a game that in that qualifier round lasted 18 minutes. 2 players, 18 minutes. So again, it's just incredible that they can play that quickly. They know the game that well. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. A lot of pressure in those 18 minutes, though.
Yeah.
You know, you take all that anxiety, just cramp it down into 18
Absolutely.
minutes. Like sweat.
That's the other way to think about
That's
it.
true.
Yeah.
I can already see them just having fun, enjoying, remembering that it's a game. You know,
Yeah.
and that's a lot of fun to see. But then back to business.
All right, we've got the card there, the turn down at Andrew.
He said he's played this game over 200 times in the last year in preparation. Over 500 times total,
Yeah,
but 200 times since last year in preparation for this right here. So this is the year he's taking it all the way.
yep, yep. Here we go. Okay, taking 2 yellow, filling in that second line. Even though they have a yellow going, obviously, it's not a good moment to complete that.
We'll set up for a nice grouping there around that red on the second level as well, though.
Absolutely, and it's a nice push for getting 5 of the same color, right? That's a good bonus.
Absolutely.
So let's see, it's Danielle coming up here. Those 2 yellow in the middle look pretty good. That might be a nice move. That would complete her, her second column, a sort of secondary column she's working on. But she might also want to keep going on that one she started, a very strong original column from round 1. That also would be a good move, but of course those colors might not be necessarily available. So there we go. She
There you
goes
go.
for that.
Also knowing she has that one red coming out on the top, going
Right,
to that
exactly.
2 yellow,
Exactly,
right
right.
there again. Such a tight grouping. Back to Simon. Oh, gotta be sure.
Interesting. He's going for just anything that'll touch up that final column. He's trying to group up that final column. I do wonder if sitting on those blues at the bottom for too long is going to, put him in a bind, really lock down what he can do at the bottom of his board. But again, a lot of the play is going to be happening in the top 3 lines or so anyway, so
Right,
it shouldn't be a problem. The only issue would be if, the math lands him as the last player and there's only blue to take, that could be a problem.
Yeah. And he's already done that math 3 times in his head, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, well, much more than we possibly
Got
could,
it.
so.
Whole spreadsheet happening. Good. Andrew there going for a lot of the yellow, a lot of the blue, or white.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's all they've got. Just
Really
2
is.
lines of yellow, 2 lines of white. Yeah, those bonuses do matter. They do matter.
Good. You'll see here too, they're playing on a game theory table, one of the big sponsors here for World Series of Board Gaming. So
Mhm.
shout out to them. They get to sit at a nice table, comfortable. So shout out to them, as well as some Phantom sleeves, the other sponsor here for World Series of Board Gaming, helping make all this
Absolutely.
possible.
hmm And that is a lovely table to play Azul at, I have to say. It's really nice. I love how the little factory floors sort of fit around that circle.
They do really well, right? It has kind of a mandala feel to it as well. I like it a lot.
It's just a happy accident, I'm pretty sure, but it looks great. All right, so here we've got Simon. He doesn't quite have enough yellow tiles out there to start his 4th line, which would be a nice move to get that final column completed. Probably a bad idea to get started on it with the yellows that are out there now. Is he going to make a push for the blues at the bottom, get them out of there? That would be probably a mistake right now, not a good scoring opportunity. The tile is by itself.
He's also got a lot of options out there for finishing that 5 line. A lot of
Yeah.
groupings of 2 blues.
I think a couple of red in the second line is probably a good call right now. There is a floor. One of the factories does have 2 reds out there. That might be a good move right now. And he goes for
there
that.
it is.
There we go. Yeah, the tension is rising around the table. Everybody's taking their turns very deliberately. There we go. Taking that, throwing one on the floor. We've got a lot of blue out there on the table this round. There's a lot of blue.
A little scary for is that Andrew down there.
Yeah, Andrew's
Could
got
end
a
up with-
loaded board. Not a lot of new colors that he can take. He could take yellow, he could take white. He's got the one solitary spot at the top.
He could be sitting on some negative points this round.
Yes, that's possible. He's came into this round with 1 point. It's getting tricky. It's getting a little hairy now. All right. Let's see. He's going to complete that third line. All right.
Yep.
Yeah, hopefully this math does not punish him too much. That is a lot of blue tiles sitting out
That
there.
is.
Somebody's going to have to take that.
Oh, counting the turns, right?
Somebody's going to take it.
Let it be somebody
That's how
else.
it works.
Please let my math be wrong, not be me.
And she goes for it.
Oh,
she
she's
goes for
going
it.
Okay.
Put it in that fourth spot.
Okay.
She went for the third spot. Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. She's trying to get that column.
Column finished.
But a couple of negative points. Forget about that. Trying to get those strong groupings. You know, she'd rather do that than have it out there on its own. Single point.
And that does couple nicely too with everything that's coming out for her, for sure.
Sure.
Another.
Yeah, Danielle, we were talking to Danielle, and she was talking about how one of the reasons she wanted to enter the tournament was because she would play with friends or play with family, and she made it sound like basically they were getting sick of her winning.
Right.
You know.
I think she said, this is our safe space. I can come here and win.
Yeah.
I'm
So
allowed to.
She was sort of, getting to that point where nobody really had the friends at home and the family just
Yeah.
didn't really want to play with her anymore.
They all
She
have
just,
to shampoo their hair on game night,
Yeah.
so it's so weird how
Yeah.
it lines up.
yeah, she was crushing. So it's nice to see her come out here and get that high level of competition and not have to feel bad if she,
Yeah.
happens to win.
Yeah. It's got to be fun for them too, watching her, like they're usually kind of holding back and, oh, no, we don't want to play with you because I'm tired of losing. Here, but now I'm excited and I'm sure they're at home just cheering for her, like, this
Absolutely.
is your place. Yes, go crush them, then come back and
And we'll play something else.
Yeah, anything else.
All right, we're down to the final 3 moves here of the round.
Okay.
We're sitting at Andrew's spot here. This is an interesting choice here. So Andrew could go for that single red,
That'd be a,
could go for that yellow and just take the negative point. That sounds like a good move. Try to make that push for the 5 tiles of the same color.
yeah.
He's having a little trouble with his geometry on his board there, it looks like. Quite a loaded round. He went into it with quite a few things on his board. All right, he's going for the yellow move.
Okay. Yeah,
There we go.
getting those done early. That color there really set up. Go for that. 5 of the same, bonus, but also round 2 locks him in.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of
Nice
yellow
set.
out there early game.
Nice safe move there. And a nice save. That was not ideal for Simon having to complete that now. He would have much rather had that yellow first in between. But
3, 4, 5,
better than locking those elsewhere.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Minus 4 is 7.
All right, so we're listening to her
Okay.
scoring.
So 5 first round, 7 here in the second.
Yeah. So this is 2. 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And 12.
You know, 6-point first round, and now, was that 11 points?
That was 12, I believe.
12.
Man. Way out in the lead. Okay. This is going to go here for 1, 2, 3, 4. 6, 7, 8, 9, pulling one back for 8.
Two blues or whites.
Oh, 2 whites go off, yeah.
So 8 for a total of 9.
Yep.
Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Minus 1 is 6.
All right, so just 6
Nice.
points
Good.
down here for Andrew. Just 6 points there, but of course he's got that strong push towards yellow specifically, trying to get 5 of those.
Scott
So he'll be
has
looking for
9,
those on the board.
Andrew has 7, Danielle has 12, and Simon has 18.
All right.
All right, so
Danielle
sounds
has
like Simon is leading right now
That's, yeah,
with
it's
18,
18 to Danielle's.
and they'll update their score tracks in a second
Right.
here.
Yeah.
Gonna upgrade your black cubes.
Oh,
18.
The voice you're hearing there is Josh Ward. That's our judge for this. So there is a judge assigned to the table here that's kind of keeping an eye on things, making sure it's running smoothly. Everyone's following the rules. The expert of the rule is on the rules as well, if there are any questions. But I think at this point they've probably played enough. We're not going to see a lot of questions.
I think they got it.
But but he is kind of reminding them to pass the card, things like that, keeping things running for us because we're not playing with timers or anything like that.
Yep.
now all the blacks are coming out. Bag empty.
All right, time to reset that bag.
It's such a satisfying feel when you have the tiles in the bag. I love that right there, that moment of ASMR. Shaking it, feeling it.
Absolutely.
Remind yourself that they're not starburst.
Absolutely. Yeah, there is something very tactile and pleasing about Azul and the follow-ups. All right, here we go. So it's her opening
Okay.
move.
It's the first time with
Her
no
first
threes.
move, she took that first player, so
Definitely a very strong play for those central columns. Going to continue seeing moves like that. Quite a few black out there, so that should be a fairly early move you'll see. Trying to complete that 4th line down with black ideally. So we're expecting to see some early moves like that. And then once that happens, which should be this round, then that red can be finished up at the bottom. So single red or 2 blacks, which is the best that it can be right now, is probably that opening move. Probably go for that single red early before they get clumped up. There we go.
it is, yeah.
Very nice. She can wait a little bit and let the blacks pile up a bit.
With the complete. So even the first turn, it's a big decision right
Lots
here.
of thinking.
It's definitely slowing down.
All right, so he's not going for the center.
Okay.
He decided to go ahead and get that yellow, and now we have the center broken. There we go.
Scott knew exactly what he wanted there, didn't he? That first player marker. It's the longest it's lasted. Third person
That's right.
around.
That's right. Again, it's just one of those things you don't see in casual
Okay.
plays very much. You know, most casual players will tend to avoid having to go to the center. That's negative points. But that control of being first next round clearly outweighs the negative point now.
I think World Series of Board Gaming, what I've learned the most so far is I'm really bad at games. I
Yeah,
don't play any of
that's
them
a-
correctly, apparently.
That's a solid takeaway from me as well. That sounds either like I'm picking on you or
Yeah,
like
I
I'm
don't
talking
know.
about
That was-
myself,
We
and I'm
both
not
got
going to
flapped in
clarify.
that one. All right.
I refuse to
Gonna keep me
clarify.
up tonight. All right, cool. Although I guess in Danielle's first game of this, she scored 107.
That's a tremendous
I
score.
really am playing wrong.
Yeah, she plays very strong, as you can see here, and she did previously as well. Very strong from the top rows
Yeah.
and those central columns. Very much part of her strategy going into the game, and you see it happening once again.
I believe
All right,
I
it's time
heard-
to make a play for those black. There we go.
There it is.
There we go.
Yeah, I heard Danielle called an abstract shark, is what they were calling her out in her game earlier today.
Is
when
that
she was
right?
playing as. She was an
Okay.
abstract shark.
Okay. So we got Simon up next here. We were talking to him a little bit earlier. He was telling us about previous games he's played. So he used to play competitive Magic the Gathering, actually. And his favorite game is Dune Imperium. The last thing he won, actually, was a tournament of Dune Imperium online. That he played and won that, and that's his favorite game. And then Magic the Gathering, he used to play that quite a bit as well. He said in preparation for this, he played Azul online about 30 times, he said, and then jumped into this.
That's great. How cool would that be to win a tournament of your favorite game?
Yes,
gotta be-
absolutely.
Gotta be fun. I wonder if it was his favorite game before or after.
That's a
Should've
good
asked. I
question.
must. Back to Scott here.
All right, so Andrew was up next.
You know, we saw him take those orange tiles early there, the yellow tiles early, I'm sorry. He's got to be careful here, I think from then on out, needing them for his bottom rows, but making sure it's a solid enough grouping to make it worth taking.
That's right, yeah, he can't put him in the first spot anymore, can't put him in the second, and the third is occupied at the moment, but he also can't put him there. So he needs large groupings if he wants to go for those, that 5 of a kind, all the yellow tiles, starting from the top. That's great, but
Yep.
you need enough of them to show up to make that push worthwhile.
Right, putting a lot of the eggs in that basket right there, especially like you said, with that 5th row currently occupied.
Yeah, he needs to
know.
empty that out. It's unfortunately not scoring great right now. He really wants, and there's simply not enough out there, but he would love to have those plain blues in his 4th line right now
Decided to make it crunchy for each other.
to try to, get his lines to work out.
I think he was just saying he's noticing he's kind of backed himself in a little corner there. We heard him talking at the table like, "Ooh, it's not quite panning out like I hoped." But I mean, it's not too late. He can definitely pivot, you know.
Sure. There we go.
Some solid finishes there from Danielle, finishing both her 4 and her 5 lines. So far, no one's taken any outside of the first player, taken no negative points yet on this round.
That's right.
Very
Yeah.
interesting.
There's going to be some large groups coming into the
There
end
are.
of the round here, though, and we'll see who those land on. We have Brian in the comments asking, I wonder if we'll see any blatant hate drafting. We saw an opportunity for it a little while ago with Danielle going right before Simon, where she could have done it to her own detriment, and she chose not to go for it. So it's unlikely that you'll see any move that is not clearly thought out and beneficial to those players. So could it happen? I don't know. I doubt it would be to the detriment of their own score, because they're, hurting one other player across the table simply benefits the other 2 excellent players sitting there to play. So unlikely. So we've got with those black tiles finished there. That for Danielle, that is a complete column.
Yeah. Finishing that second column, which is where she started with.
That's right.
So her strategy is working well for her so far.
The end game, as a reminder, will be a line across, any one line across their board. That'll be the end game trigger.
I think
Each
so.
of those things worth bonus points, by the way. The columns, the lines across, and then having 5 of the same color in their display.
I think so far I'm just seeing 2 down here, right? 2 is our max columns.
I believe no player has 3
Has
across
3.
yet.
Yeah,
That's right, yeah.
So
String of 2 times passing in a row. Big deal.
Good job.
I'm doing it.
It's been a fairly quiet game.
yes.
You'll hear him sort of say something or make a joke every now and then, but it's been a fairly quiet game, very thoughtful game.
Mm-hmm. Every now and then, just a little something to break the tension.
Mhm.
But they're definitely here to play. Oh, you know what? You're right. Simon does have 3 in his top row there, right? No,
I don't believe there's
that's
a
only
red
2.
there.
There's
No,
not a
don't
red.
believe so. As far as the points, some of the folks are asking in the comments, the bonus points are, if I'm not mistaken, and you guys could help me on this one here, I think it is 10 points for having all 5 of a color. Then you get 7 down, up and down. That will be 7 and 2 points across. That also ends the game, by the way. So they're going to not go for that immediately. You want to get those columns 7 points each, 5 of the same kind. Then you can complete it. So they'll be getting obviously points throughout the scoring and then those bonuses. The blue, plain blue, but they cannot go in her second or her third grouping. So she cannot take those. They'll just fall right to the negative spots for her. So something else to be careful of. Very few colors left, large groups generally left. It's starting to get a little tricky. That singular black would be fantastic, except he can't put it at the top. Singular blue here in the third line is probably the move. Probably taking it from outside, letting the rest fall to the floor, making larger groups for everybody else. Move.
Also
We'll
not
see if he goes for that.
yeah.
He's thinking about it.
Also
Indeed, he
knowing-
does go for it.
If he gets stuck, he has flexibility with those larger groups as well.
Exactly.
He has
He's
the
the
white
one-
and the red.
He's the one player right now with an open bottom line.
He's in a good position with that. A lot of flexibility. Again, went in with a clean board on this round, right? And
Absolutely.
That's definitely
Yeah.
playing to his advantage right now, for sure.
Sorry.
Yeah, you had to do it.
Finishing that third row.
That's a lot of tiles broken.
You wanted those.
No, I wanted him to leave that so that either one of you have to eat. Although no, you wouldn't have to.
You would have got to you.
Well, I've been talking that little bit of strategy afterward. You know, that
Yep.
little bit of like, sorry, but not sorry. It is a game. Worked out nicely for her. Does he take the negative point? Or lock himself in on that bottom line.
Yep.
It's going for
There
the
we go.
flexibility.
Negative point.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That will wrap up the third round. They'll do some scoring. We'll see how everybody comes out.
2, 3,
Some strong plays there.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Minus 6 is 6.
Okay, that's 6 points there for Simon.
This one for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Good round.
16. Nice.
That was Steven after scoring, actually. Okay.
Right, 23.
Yep.
One, two, three. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Back to 16.
That is a full column right
Wow,
there
There she is.
for Danielle. So let's see everybody's lines here. So, okay, Simon. Okay, so I said Simon was scoring first. It was actually a Scott who was scoring first. My mistake.
Minus 1. It's gonna be 7.
7.
All right, so this is our first final of the day, but we have qualifying rounds still happening out there for
Yes, we
Raw,
do. Yes, we
Terraforming
do.
Mars, and Gaia Project, 3 other finals that'll be happening tonight. Let's check in with Stephen Bonacore here, who has some details on how those are going.
Take it away.
Scott has 15.
Thank you, Camilla and Z. Great commentary on the Azul final. Stephen Bonacore, the podfather of gaming here. And as they mentioned, we actually have 3 other ring tournaments going on right now. One of them is Ra. That final table is set, and they will be starting it very soon. At that final table, we have Lloyd Wasson from San Jose, California, Lee Schnorr from Rockville, Illinois, David Meredith from Bowling Green, Kentucky, and Ted Evans from Omaha, Nebraska. Now, Lloyd Wasson was the 2022 ring winner for Ra, so he is trying to do a repeat and be the first 2-year-in-a-row ring winner in the same tournament, which would be amazing. A lot of people say Ra's got a lot of luck involved. I don't know. He's in the finals again. He might win again. I think this is a lot of skill going on here. David Meredith is the 2022 Ticket to Ride winner. So some patterns going on here where these strong players, and like Z and Camilla said, we're learning how bad of players we are while watching these really great players play. Little anecdote here is that when I watched the last game that closed out and Ted Evans was there and he knew the score was going to be close, he was screaming, "Rah, rah, rah," which is the thing that you always do when you play that game. So fun, great sportsmanship. It was a really good final table there to get them to the finals. We also have Gaia Project. It's in its semifinals right now. There's 4 tables running of that right now. Notably, we have Clifford Flasher, who was last year's Gaia Project winner from 2022. We also have in there Bryant Brownell, who was in the semifinals of the Gaia Project, and Ricky Boys, who was also in the semifinals of Gaia Project last year, and he's a 2022 ring winner for 7 Wonders. Clifford, by the way, who won this last year, was also a finalist for the World Championship. So a lot of people who have been around this event for 2 years in a row are doing very well. But the most famous person in the Gaia Project semifinals is not someone associated with board gaming, actually. It's William Hung. You might remember him from American Idol singing the Ricky Martin song, She Bang. Yes, that William Hung. He is right now playing in the semifinals, doing really well. He's one of us. He's a geek. He's a board gamer. It's so exciting to see that he's here. A little more information about the factions that are being played there. So far, the Itar faction has been chosen the most, and it's won twice. And the Terrans have been chosen the second most. They've won 3 times, and that's out of 12 total tables pre-semifinals. And the last game that's being played right now, something near and dear to my heart, Terraforming Mars, semifinals. They just started. There's a lot of people in this event, about 160, I think. I don't have that exact number, but it was a very big one. 4 tables currently running right now. Levi Moreno is the 2022 ring winner of Terraforming Mars, and he won by 1 point over Anthony Scateni, I believe his name is, who just got knocked out before the semifinals. Nicholas Henning, the Great Western Trail 2022 ring winner, is in the semifinals. A couple of anecdotes on this too. Turn one of the players got planner milestone, and they want me to toss back, I think. So I've got to toss it back to the studio. Take it away, Z and Camilla.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Appreciate all the commentary there. Great stories too. You know, he keeps going with the stories. You don't stop him, he'll tell you some more stories. Be careful with Stephen Bonacore, okay? In a dark alley, in a shady night, and anywhere else. Really.
Clear day, middle of the street.
We appreciate it, Stephen. Thank you very much. Absolutely. Picking it up again here, we are in the middle of the round. As you can see, they're already about halfway into this round.
I love we saw Andrew there get that first player token there early.
He did.
So again, seeing that going.
His board is starting to develop a nice, strong central area as well. You'll see that. Not quite as uniform as Danielle's was early in the game, but he is starting to develop a really nice central area. Mm-hmm. Good grouping in there. He's still, ideally pushing for those color combinations. Hasn't made a move for any more yellows, as you can see, but that, of course, is going to be a little bit tricky because the lines that can take that color are, well, near the top are the ones that he could easily do. For the bottom 2 lines, he would need quite a few of them, and one of them is busy right now.
Exactly, having that 5th line there locked up again for this round does hurt a little bit.
Scott's turn right now. He's thinking what he's going to do. He's going to want to complete that black at the bottom. He's going to probably want to let that group up a little bit in the center before he goes for that.
It's really interesting. We were talking to Scott. He was saying that his favorite game is Terraforming Mars, which is a game that they're playing here in the tournament. Mm-hmm. And he decided not to play in it.
That's right.
Because he wanted to play something he's had more plays of and things like that. And I was like, I wonder if that was it. If some of my favorite games were out there, would I want to do a tournament? You know, just kind of preserve that.
Yeah, he was basically acknowledging that he loves it, is not that good at it.
Right.
It was sort of like, I don't want to compete in it. It's my favorite game. I don't want to jump into it and compete. Yeah. Which is interesting, and I do wonder again, it's like my favorite games, do I want to compete in those?
Right.
It doesn't necessarily mean I'm good at them, right?
Right, and is it a little bit of good, but also does it kind of spoil it a little bit? As you start to break it down and you see those strategies and you hone in on that one thing, you're like, no, I just want to enjoy it. It's my favorite game. Just let me have that.
Absolutely.
So it's really interesting. I thought that was cool. He had the option. He chose not to.
Yeah.
He went for Azul.
Yep. We're back to Danielle here, thinking through her turn. That red line is ready to go. She's going to want to start working on that line now as well. Quite a few yellows out there. That might be a move, going for those yellows near the bottom. There's enough of them out there where she could fill that line out potentially if the other players let her get away with it. She's got a pretty open board right now, though, so there's a lot of moves she could go for. All right, she goes for a white one, right at the top.
Okay.
Making a
Filling
push
that
for that
top up.
line across the top of her board.
So after round 3 here, our scores are set at 15, 23, 28, 25.
That's right. And it looks like, taking a look at what's available out there right now, we've got Andrew really stuck with white, both in his third line and his fifth line. There are none out there. Those are sticking around for the next round.
Another one.
He's got very little flexibility right now. His fourth line, and that's in. And as you
Yeah, he's definitely thinking and a lot, looking for that fancy footwork he can maybe do to. We talked about hate drafting earlier. I think this is where that starts to come in just a
Starts to
little
get-
bit, you
yeah.
know. It's nothing against the other players, but
what's he go for here? The 4 blacks might be the move. He's already got one at the top. He's got one at the bottom. That could also be a nice color push.
yep. If you can get those other ones opened up.
Let's see if he goes for it. Yeah, the reason not to take that right now is next color that comes back around hurts him. And if he doesn't break that one that still hasn't hit the floor, the math works out where he might take some. So that's what he's debating right now. Do I break that floor, toss it onto the ground, something, anything? He is really thinking this through. There's a lot on the line here. Tricky board position. Colors didn't work out for him this time. Some of the folks are asking in the chat if they have time limits. They do not have time limits. They can think as long as they need to, but you'll see most turns, do move along at a nice clip.
Yeah, the only limitation they have is that card. When it passes, that is the end of their turn. No takebacks, no changes. We did clarify if, they catch a mistake later, a couple turns down the road, do they go back and correct that? And they said the answer is no unless the players agree otherwise. But all the
Correct.
players do have to be in agreeance,
It's
agreement.
unanimous
Yeah,
or
unanimous.
it doesn't happen.
Right.
Funny thing, Andrew here, who has taken his turn, we found out he's getting married later this year, so congratulations to him.
Absolutely.
Hopefully he says I do a little faster than he takes this turn.
Okay, did not go to the blacks.
Interesting. He takes red
Okay.
from the center, just tosses them on the ground, waits for better groupings, because he does have an open lane right there. And it can take any 3 of the colors out there. He can take yellow there, he can take blue there, he can take black. So he figures, let me wait it out, group these up, see what I can get. None of these from this point on hurt him. He removed the biggest pain, which was the smallest pain, took it, and is going to wait and see.
I did not expect her to take the white.
I didn't expect you to take the white. I knew he was gonna take the white.
I figured this was just the beat up Andrew round.
I mean, you should
Getting
take
a little jovial now.
You're
Yeah.
in very good position.
Cutting the tension every now and then.
I mean,
That was a
I'm
very
there.
tense turn there.
I think Yeah, some of these moves are catching them all off guard, and you kind of see that tension break, like, oh, you know, they have to step back a second, and get back in. That's fun. Back to Danielle currently here.
The interesting thing is the fact that they still have that one factory that no one's taken from. She goes for the center, still has not taken from it. Goes for the third.
She went negative with one.
Again, that strong center play.
So it's interesting, we're seeing here in the chat that there's a Discord channel for many of this year's and last year's participants. So they actually get together to practice beforehand. Again, talking about that camaraderie that's built at an event like this. You know, they are here to compete and obviously going for that ring, going for that cash money, hopefully. But at the end of the day, it's about board gaming, and they get together beforehand to practice and play these games over and over and over again, you know, online.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of players out here, there he goes, he took that one. For a lot of players, that level of competition is its own reward.
Yeah.
That level of play, you know, just playing at a level that most of us just cannot aspire to. Having competition worthy of how incredibly talented they are at these games.
And again, knowing that you can play at that level, you know, like you were commenting earlier with Danielle and the family not really wanting to play, like, I don't want to get crushed again, you know, but just having that platform to be able to be like, no, I can, this is a skill I have, and gaining that confidence in it and place to be able to do it. That's really,
Absolutely.
really fun.
Absolutely. All right, so Scott took a whole bunch that he's thinking on there. He took those black ones, he's thinking on it.
We hear him talking about that risk.
To
you
the
know?
go to the bottom, and he throws two into the negative points as you put them on the fourth line.
Kind of lock that in for next round as well, you know. Going to that round, having your fourth and your fifth in the same color locked.
If he puts him in the fourth line right now, he will finish it. He's got four of them,
Oh, he would put all four.
and he
of them.
goes for it. He can clear that one. He's going to the final. Well, he goes to the next round with only the bottom one then. That isn't cleared. So
That's
quite a bit of scoring that he'll be doing. All right, so here's the move. Do they go to negative, or do they lock up that last line? Okay.
Locking that line. Okay. Once again, though, she'll have some nice combo scoring there with those reds coming out this time, if she's able to complete that fifth line.
10
Yep.
4 is 6.
Let's listen in on the scoring.
Also the second one. The snowflake.
Not a lot got cleared there for Andrew.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, minus 1 is 11.
11 is 39.
We should have watched out for her. Everyone warned us.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm recognizing there the abstract shark that she is. Everyone, they were warned.
Yes.
They're saying.
10, sorry. It's gonna be 10. And this one is 5. So 15.
15 plus 25 is 40.
And it's close at the top. All right, let's see what this does. I've got this for 1, 2, 3, 4. Got this one. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24.
I think we said a lot of scoring there for Andrew.
Nice.
Total of 39.
But we'll get those updated scores in just a little bit, folks.
39.
39. Wow.
All right. So Scott has 39. Andrew has 29. Danielle has 39. And Simon has 40.
Wow.
All right, so Simon at 40, and then Danielle and Scott at 39, right
39.
below him by 1 point.
1 point and a tie.
That's
Going
where they
into-
are right now.
Going into likely our last round here, right?
Very
So-
likely our last round, correct?
Wow. Tight game for sure. I think here's we'll definitely see the slowing down of turns, right? Lots
right,
of thinking
yeah.
and rethinking and double checking your math and then checking on other people's boards.
And if anybody's making a move here for 5 of the same color, this is of course the round to do it. So we'll be watching out for that as well, right? There's a couple of players who are very much making a big push for it.
And once again, we see Simon going in here with a clear board in this round.
Mm-hmm.
If he can combo that right and get some good compound scoring there in this last round.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got Scott here in seat 1. That's the bottom right there. Who's set up pretty nicely if the tiles come out right here for a five of a kind in black. He's already got that bottom line with 3 of them. He just needs 2 more there and 2 in the second spot. That's all 5. And it's looking good.
Mm-hmm.
We'll remind you that that is worth 10 victory points at the end of the game.
Andrew's sitting close too with his whites. If he can get those cleared this round. That bottom one's been sitting there for a couple rounds though.
That's right, yeah. Now, however, we're not seeing a lot of those show up, so that might be a problem. He also would need the top one, the singular at the top. There's some of them there.
Okay. Andrew down there sitting at 29 to the 39, 39, and 40.
Yeah, this
The
is the
other
final
3.
push here for those bonuses, so you're looking for, again, 5 of a kind, those row bonuses, the column bonuses.
Mm-hmm.
The only one not to blame is this guy.
Here we go. So Andrew's got to prioritize those wide ones. He
And
goes
there he
for
is.
them. There's that bottom column done.
No, and he doesn't have many opportunities for him here.
There's not that many of them.
Taking
Yeah,
it
that's right.
quick.
Thankfully, he's got quite a few of them separated out there, so hopefully those aren't thrown into the middle where they get grouped up and he can't respond. You will notice if you count out the tiles that there is just enough, just barely enough for Danielle to complete yellow on the bottom and on the 4 line. That would get her 5 of those. It's very unlikely she'll be able to manage to take all of those. So the plan here is probably just continue playing that strong column game
The
that she's
column
been
game.
playing the whole time. Somebody's asking if they're tracking their scores on their boards. They try to update them. They're writing down the scores. There's a piece of paper that's keeping track of it. So if you see them not remember to update that, it's merely because they're so focused on the tiles in play. They do have their scores written out. Right now they're sitting at 40, 39, 39, 29. That's the scores around the table.
And that is with Simon in the lead.
That's Simon in the lead, and Danielle and Scott are sitting at 39 each.
They're tied.
That is correct. We've also got Danielle right now, 3 reds away from having all 5 reds. If she gets them in that center line, that would be all the reds. And again, that's 10 points.
She's locking in that top column though, or the top row, I'm sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, that's a guaranteed end game right
It
there,
is.
of course.
So now they all know.
Been shocked if this wasn't the last one.
Yeah, as they said, would have been shocked if this wasn't the last turn. Of
There's,
course.
Yeah, a lot of that out there. Yeah, but she did trigger
Yeah,
it.
sometimes the tiles just flop like that.
You know, at least I'm gonna have 2 other people commiserating with me after.
That is true. That is true.
I love the jovial nature there. You know, it's like, all right, at least 2 other people will be commiserating with me about not making it.
Yep.
You know, thinking positively here, even to the end. Good sport.
And there's a lot of tricky turns here, as you can see. A lot of thinking. Plenty to try to figure out near the end of the game. Do they break the center right now? What do you take? What do you push for? The 7 points for a column, not to be ignored.
Again, with just 1 point separating all the top 3.
That's
you know,
right.
Right now, they're definitely thinking.
A lot of counting going on right now.
There's a point, you know, when we all AP and overthink. I don't think this is one of those times.
Right.
You know, they're doing the right amount of thinking
That's right.
for what they
Yeah.
feel like is on the line.
Simon's got a fully clear board right now, sideboard there.
A lot of what he's doing is calculating to see what he can do. Also, what can everyone else not take that he'll probably come back around to him,
That's right.
you know?
All right, he goes for those 2 blues. He's hoping for, again, he's going to try to complete that line and the top one. Try to get those 5 blues.
And he also knows there's probably going to be a lot more groupings in the middle, so leaving that flexibility down on that 5th line for himself.
That seems to be a general move right now that's happening. Is that's the push. Scott is doing it as well with the black tiles. There's plenty out there. He just needs 2 more, and he's got it. That bonus. Yeah, the push right now, end game, is go for those bonuses.
Right.
Get those columns, get those runs.
Those reds are now in the middle there. There they are. She's going for them.
There it is. It's very surprising. No one had taken the center yet, mind you. The reason, of course, for that being there is no next round.
Yes, you're just taking the negative point.
You're just taking a negative point right now. There is no need to be first next round. There is no next round. So
But in her
we'll
point-
see that draw out, of course, during that last round.
Absolutely, yeah. But in her case here, you see that that was her 5th red that she needed as well. So, you
Yep.
know, the negative definitely outweighed the positive gain, I
Exactly.
guess, outweighed
Yeah.
the negative point.
Yeah, she's losing 2 points for that, making 10.
Yeah.
Worthwhile trade. And of course, making more than that because once that red hits her grid, she'll be scoring off of it. I do wonder what's going through their heads at this point. Are they seeing sort of the inevitable?
Right.
You know, are they getting to that point where they're going, ooh, I don't think I can catch up, or I'm about, I've sort of got it in the bag. Where's that tipping point?
I think so. It's have they been so focused on their own math the whole time that now they're stepping back and doing everyone else because it's still a tight game. I mean,
It
1
is.
point for the top 3. It's like, oh, hold on. I'm in a good position, but is it good enough? You know,
Right.
they're doing everyone else's math for them at this point as
Yeah,
well.
absolutely.
They're being helpful like that. Let me do your math.
mhm.
You see, Andrew there was finally able to get those 2 whites completed. There's 1 more out there. That could be a bonus for him if he takes it for his top row as well.
Mhm.
Get the 5 whites. 3 out of 5 in 1 round. Be interesting.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, he won't get a lot of scoring from placing them, but he will get the bonus, of course.
Right, right. We see out there Scott's the only one that could take that and place it on his board. So
Yeah, unfortunately, that's a really good placement for Scott, who will play right before Andrew. So that might not make it around to him. We'll see. That 1 white is the last white out there. We'll see what happens with that one.
it's a good move, but that does set some pretty interesting groupings there in the middle. You know, that'll give us, if that does happen, we'll look at 5 yellow, 4 red. Not a lot of places on the board for that for for many of these players here. So, of course, we'll see what Danielle does here.
She's got those yellows at the. There we go. Simon going for those blues.
Finishing out that blue.
There we go. That white is gone. That was a quick move too. Ooh.
I'm sure Andrew saw it coming, but oh, it still gotta hurt. Oh. Ooh, that is a lot of negative.
Yes. Yeah. There we go. Everything's in the center now. She's completing her second
Yes.
line.
Big sigh of relief for Danielle
Almost didn't make
right
it.
there.
Yep,
She was
almost didn't get it. So here we go. Either one of those could go to the bottom line for Simon. They're both equally worthwhile, so he probably goes for the smaller penalty.
Thinking the red there.
It really won't matter. He goes for the smaller
Yeah.
penalty.
Either way, it's going to be 1 point when he puts it out.
Oh, sorry.
That's
Oh, waiting for the card to pass.
Waiting for the
He
card
knew
to
what he was
pass, yeah.
doing, but didn't have
Like
the
to think
card.
about it.
Yeah, either one of you guys.
Here, Danielle, there. This game is way too close. She knows. She's been
Yep.
thinking.
Yeah.
She's
So
like,
here's the
"Ooh."
trick. Do they go to the third line? There's a bunch of penalties, but then he scores. Do they go to the fourth line? Fewer penalties. The tile's worth a single point. I think the move is third line here,
So,
and scoring a bunch of points off of the actual placement as opposed to a single point. Of course, it's some quick, simple math. He'll do that, and we'll figure it out.
now we see them there looking at each other and commentating on what move they'll do as well. Doing that
Yep.
not mental math at this point.
Yep.
You know, it's set. You know, they know
This
what
is
they're
it.
doing. So,
This is it, folks. Final turn goes to Scott, who was telling us his game that got him into gaming was Agricola was the one that really sealed the deal for him. He said he had a dream about it the night he played it, and that's what did it. He was like, "Oh, that's it. I'm a gamer now."
If
'Cause I
it's
had a
worth-
dream about Agricola.
it's worth dreaming. It's worth
It's worth
going head first
getting into.
into it.
Yeah.
I
So there
love
he
it.
goes. He goes for that third line, takes all the bonus,
There it is.
takes all the
Very good.
penalties rather,
Yeah.
but will score more than a single point for that.
All right, here we go. Final scoring.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 16.
All around 16 points here for Danielle.
And then wait for the bonus stuff.
Yeah. So this is 5. This will be 6, so 11, and 12.
So 12.
All right, 12 there for Simon.
Okay, that's 12 for Simon. So Daniel just took 16. Of course, they have not done their bonuses yet. Let's not forget that.
For 5. Got this one here for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
Very strong scoring here
Very
for
nice.
Scott.
20, 21, 22, 23, 24, minus 6 is 18.
Even with those penalties, very solid round for Scott
Mhm.
there.
Very good.
49.
Very nice placement.
57.
And again, ideally in this final round, you want to see those clear sideboards, right? So, you know, Simon's got one, Scott's got one.
3, 4, 5, 6,
Congrats. Sorry.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah.
19.
Got some points to use out.
All right, here we go.
19 there
We're
for
very, very
Andrew as
close
well.
now.
Calculate our bonuses in here.
Okay, bonus.
Bonuses.
All right.
2 plus 7 is 9, plus 10 is 19.
19.
19 and
She's got one of each, one column, one row, and one color run, those reds.
I will have second
I
place.
missed her final score there. I didn't quite hear it.
9 plus 52 is 61.
You're gonna get me.
He got his up.
Okay, 2, 4, 11, and I have blacks for 21.
Danielle sitting at 74. Simon at 61.
I've got 2 count levels for 14.
Scott at 78.
We believe he's at 78, yes. Let's double check on that. But we believe he's at 78 right now.
Final score is Scott with 78 points, and the winner. Andrew at 62, Danielle at 74,
great playing
and
with
Simon at 61.
Simon, great playing with you.
There we go,
Danielle.
folks.
There we go.
So we have
Simon.
our winner.
Great game.
I'm sorry.
Our winner is going to be Scott Leader, is indeed the leader
Oh my gosh.
Well, you got
of Azul. Somebody a while ago in the comments said we should make that joke. You know what? It's not a joke. He indeed is the leader. Scott has triumphed, and he is, with a score of 78, the winner of Azul at the World Championship here.
Series of board gaming
That's
here.
right.
Yes.
great game.
Wonderful game. Incredible play from all 4 contestants here. But he was able to pull off a win, and in second place, right behind him, was Danielle, who also had a fantastic game
Right there.
at 74 points. So very, very close game.
Absolutely.
There you go, folks.
Great game.
So that's going to do it for us. Thank you very much for tuning in and watching. We appreciate you. Congratulations to all the players, and especially, of course, to Scott. Make sure you stick around. We've got all the other contests and all the other championships coming up throughout the week.
Yeah.
Make sure you tune in and check those out.
Tonight here we have more great ones coming tonight even.
That's right,
3
yeah,
more
yeah.
championship games tonight. Raw, Terraforming Mars, and Gaia Project.
Yep,
So that
that's
should be
it.
wrapping up soon.
All right, and I think we're good here. I think we're going to wrap it up, guys. Are we good? Okay. So that's going to do it, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in and watching with us. We appreciate you. My name is Z Garcia.
I'm Camilla Cleghorn.
We'll see you at the next one. Take care, everybody.